On this episode of the Nugget Project, we are going to get this car on its wheels today. I said that in the last video, didn't I? That's right, gang. We are going to get this car on its wheels today. So in the last video I did go through and strip all the control components, paint them all up, but unfortunately because it's winter I just struggled with paint and the undercoating I did on the body drying in time. It's just so cold and so humid and it was just not drying. Today's actually a much nicer day, so hopefully, not that we're doing any painting, but at least the weather's warming up and we are inching closer to painting the entire car, so it's a good sign that we can actually start thinking about those things soon. Right, before we get started, a few things just rocked up in the mail which are quite interesting. Things that I've struggled to find. Mainly, so this box came from a dude in England. It's a little bit crusty, but this little guy here is the door switch. So when you open the door, the interior light comes on. I really struggled to find these. They just don't make them anymore. So we've got one of those, which is great. It's a little bit crusty on the outside, but give it a bit of a clean up and that will work great. One of the door switches on the passenger side was this switch. It was buggered, but it was also fused into the body. Like, it wouldn't come out at all. It was in there. It was not coming out. So unfortunately, after I realized it wasn't working anyway, I drilled it out and it's a mess down there. So I will have to drill a clean hole and then tap it and everything, but I need to find out what size that thread is. So before we start, we might have a look at that in a minute using our Raceworks thread identification kit. Also with that is just the little rubber cover that goes over that, which is very cool. Tying into that, also got an interior light, because now I have no idea what size the standard interior light is on this thing, because mine was completely disintegrated. There was nothing left of it. There was little shards of the clear cover in the bottom of one of the boxes, and that was it. It was just gone. So I don't know if this is the right size because they come in a few different sizes. However, I am completely rebuilding my headlining. So I'm gonna just make this one fit. It won't be a problem. I will just make sure that one will work in the interior and we're good. So yep, got that, it's cool. So it's got the housing, the lens, and it's even got a bulb in it, which is very nice. The next thing, which we'll need for our engine conversion, is a speedo gear. So that is the little gear that goes inside the gearbox and transfers. So we plug a cable into that, the cable goes through, goes into the back of the gauge cluster, and that gives us our speed. For some reason, someone has cut or hacksawed into this, which kind of sucks. I'm not overly stoked on that, but it doesn't look like it'll affect it. It still turns fine. And it's even got the little retaining clip in there too to clamp into the gearbox. So, very cool. So with our new gearbox, we can put that in, and that means we can have our speedo working with the new gearbox swap, which is great. Lastly, 2 episodes ago, we talked about the brake master cylinder. Remember, we put it in there and then I strengthened the firewall, which a lot of you guys said that's not actually going to help, and I 100% agree. I don't think it will help. I think it will help a tiny bit, but really it does need to be tied down to that bottom panel to stop it flexing, but I couldn't see an easy way to do it right now, and I don't know if it's a big enough problem to invest a lot of time in it. If later on down the track I do find it's a bit of a problem, people have recommended those brackets you can buy. I'm not going to go buying a freaking bracket. I'll just make one because I know how to bend steel. So I will measure one up and I'll bend it, even if I get it laser cut on my mate's place and then bend it up myself. So we'll see if that's a problem. However, I did need a new master cylinder. I haven't even unwrapped this yet. As I said, it just got here. So let's just pull this off and have a look at it. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Tiny bit of surface rust on the bottom. The reservoir looks in pretty good condition, which is nice. Oh yeah, looks clean inside. Okay, cool. So the reason I got this is because you can see it's got 4 bolts that hold the master onto the booster. Now mine is a very, very early Japanese one and it's only got 2 bolts, which means this master is different and it's very hard to get rebuild kits or anything like that for the 2-bolt setup. And even with this, I can buy just the master brand new still online and just take this off and bolt the new one on and just put all the fittings on, no problem. Whereas I can't buy the 2-bolt one anymore. So that's cool. So that's really good. So that means I've kind of modernized the car a little bit. And look, hopefully this one's fine. I'll put it on the car. If it feels squidgy or anything like that, we'll either get a new master or I'll get a steel kit. I'd love to just get a rebuild kit for it instead of just buying a whole new master. But now we have the option to do that with that 4-bolt. So that's really cool. So there we go. More parts from overseas. This is a very international parts car. Stuff from everywhere. Okay, so before we get into putting this thing back on its wheels, as I mentioned, I do have this switch, but I will need to drill and tap that size, but I've got to see if I've got the right size tap for that. Now, this is the good side, so this is where it goes in. We'll zoom in on that, and then what we're going to use is our Raceworks thread identification kit. This thing's freaking awesome. So that's got all the pieces in there that we can fit into this thread and see what size it is, and then I can buy a tap if I need to, or hopefully I've got one in the cupboard. Anyway, we'll use that kit and see what size thread it is. Thinking it looks like an M14. So this is an M14 by 1.25 thread pitch. Yep. That's bound up straight away. So let's try. There we go. It's an M14 by 1.5. Aha! There we go. So that is an M14 by 1.5. Cool. Obviously, I can't test it on that because, like, it does have an internal thread there, but I can't get that through there. Okay, let me just see if I've got a tap for that. This door is trying to attack me regularly. Cool, I just went and had a check in my tap drawer, and the biggest I've got is an M12. So we'll jump on eBay and just get one. I don't want to spend a fortune on like an expensive one, but we'll just get one that's will do the trick. Cool, perfect, done. So that tap will be here in a few days, and we can drill out the other side, tap it, and that means we can now put our door switch in. Perfect. That was easy. All right, now let's talk about what we need to do to get this car on its wheels today, because there's a bit to do before we start bolting stuff on. All right, before we get too excited and try to bolt stuff in the car, I need to fix up my steering rack first. So it's pretty good. I put a coat of paint in it with drips in it. It's terrible. But these tie rod ends, they don't seem that warm, but they're pretty crusty and rusty, and I've got a near new set over there, so I want to slap them in. Also, the boots feel fine. I was worried they were wrecked, but they're actually pretty good, but I do need to take them off and give them a good scrub. Give them a go over WD-40 and soften them up. So, what I need to do is just get all this off. So, I'm a bit worried that this is all going to be on there real crusty like and not want to come off, as is the way with these things. Yeah. Okay, let's undo these ends. We'll give everything a spray and see if we can get it apart. We'll set up the GoPro and shoot this. Oh, there we go. Oh, let's do that. There we go. You know what? After how easy that came off and how good it looks in here, there is no movement whatsoever. It's like a brand new freaking rack. These feel good too. No, I'm gonna give them a clean up and put them back together. Like, it's just this that's a bit crusty. We're good. All right, well that saves us some time. Just want to take this outside, we'll get the other one off, we'll give these a good scrub up. Put it back together. I spoke too soon. I took this gator off and it basically tore off boot joints. Great. Okay, I'm gonna run up to the shops and go get a new set of these. And just like that, I'm back. I've got some universal boots there. I took the Sora and I forgot how nice that car is to drive on a sunny day with the roof open, the windows open, and lovely turbo noises. I love that thing. That's the car that's going to get fixed up after we finish the MR2. It needs some love, but yeah, it's still great to drive. Anyway, we've got the universal boots here. I did go to the guy, I need some universal boots. He goes, oh no, what car's it for? I reckon we might have some. I'm like, sure. Ran him through all the details. He looked it up. He goes, oh yeah, no, we don't have boots for that. Didn't think you would, champ. So anyway, we've got some universal ones there. The rack I've just painted up again, so just the ends. We got rid of the surface rust and all that, so that's all drying in the sun. So we'll leave the boots there. We'll do that in a minute. However, the next thing I need to do before we put this together is we need to modify these hubs to fit the new brakes. Let me show you. All right, let me do a very quick explainer. So this car is a Mark 1A, which was never sold in Australia. The Mark 1B was sold in Australia. And the Mark 1A had a few differences, but one of them was the brake size. So this one had smaller discs. So we can see here side by side, this one is the Mark 1A and that one is a Mark 1B. So this is the Australian sold, that's the Japanese sold from the earlier models. Now, I have from David up the road, he sold me his old brakes. So I do have the proper Australian bigger front brake calipers, which is awesome, and the discs. So I do have some brand new Mark 1B Protex discs, which are in there, but I don't want to put them on just yet. However, the issue is that this hub is the Mark 1A hub and it has the dust shield, and obviously the dust shield fits over the smaller disc, but not the bigger disc. So I will need to cut that shield back. I haven't found anyone that's got a Mark 1B dust shield. I'll work on that later. Now, if you follow me on Facebook, you would have seen that I do have some even bigger brakes. So I have GT4 Celica twin pot calipers to go on the front of this car. Now, they will be fantastic. And I do have turbo SW20 calipers for the back. However, I don't want to put them on just yet. I want to get this car registered with like a standard brake and then go from there. So anyway, I will be eventually running the big SW20 brake calipers on the back, and they will run the same big disc on the back as opposed to the smaller ones that he usually has. And then I'll be running the GT4 calipers on the front. But yeah, just to get it registered and everything, I've got these newish calipers. Let's put them on, drive the car, and it also gives me a chance to feel what the car should feel like, and then we can upgrade and see what the difference is like on braking. So it's another thing we can do later on. For now, let's just get these brakes on. So I'm gonna have to measure up this, see how deep these discs sit. Should be the same depth as these, mark a line, and I'm just gonna have to cut them off, which sucks, but they're not gonna fit on otherwise. Okay, it's gonna need a clean up, but we'll see if the disc fits. Yep, no problem. Cool beans. All right, get a flappy disc on there, give that a clean up and around, whack a bit of paint on it. We'll do the other one. You don't need to see the other one, do you? Cool, and just like that, they are both done. I put a lick of paint on them, they're over there drying. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, obviously usually the dust shield kind of goes around a little bit, but it's still there. Cool, chuck them in the bin. Always feels weird cutting into good things, but anyway. Don't need them anymore. Right, now the rack should be dry. Let's pull the rack over and put it back together with our new universal boots. Good opportunity to show you how the universal boots work. I'd rather get obviously the right item, but I'd have to order them and wait weeks for them to come, and they're just rack boots. So cares. Cool, there's still a bit of grease in there. I might just pack a little bit of grease around the outside before we put the boots on. And here's what the boots look like. So that's the original one, obviously made to fit. So that outlet and that outlet are exactly the right size. These guys, you see it's got this big, the cable tie. So it's got this weird step down section. Let me get my GoPro and show you. So you can see it's got this step down thing. So you basically cut it to the right size for your rack. So we need to know what that size is. So we'll measure that. We'll measure these and find out which one, and then we cut the excess off. Same with this end, that goes on there. I think ours will probably be the smallest. And yeah, slide it on. They give you some cable ties, but we've still got the good clamps. Where are they? Up here. So these are the nice proper metal clamps. So we'll be reusing those because they are much nicer than just a crappy cable tie. And then it does have these for the rack end bit, but I don't actually like these ones. These are a bit junky, so we might use a cable tie on this end. All right, let's get a bit of grease on here, have a look at the rack, make sure there's no dirt on it, and then we'll cut this to size. The best chance of life. Grab our calipers. There needs to be a vague measurement, but what have we got there? 37. And then that looks to be probably the second one. So we'll just cut the outer ring off, just this one. The silicone spray always helps rubber get on things. Oh yeah, that'll work. I'm going to get. Clamp that on nice and tight. Perfect. One end done. Okay, this clamp, obviously that boot is much thicker, so this clamp isn't clamping down enough. The other one did because it's a bit wide on that end, so we might replace this one with a metal cable tie. Okay, that's it, the rack's done. I just need to pop the tie rod ends on, but she's good. New boots, all greased up, all painted up. Looks great, that's awesome. So, time to put some bushes on this thing and bushes in the rest of this stuff and get it in the car. Let's do it. Please excuse the 3D printer noise behind me. That thing literally goes 24 hours a day and our bedroom is on the other side of this wall. It's quite annoying. I should probably move it further away, but it's nice and convenient here. Anyway, I digress. So, let's have a look at our bush kit. Now this may not seem exciting for a lot of you guys, but I've had a lot of these parts sitting on the shelf for a long time, and it's so good to finally be putting them in the car. Because like up until now, it's just been rust and all that sort of stuff. And now all these parts I've been collecting ready for this, it's so cool to actually be putting them in. So I'm pretty pumped. Please bear with me if I seem excited by this stuff. Cool, so we got a bunch of bushes. So these are all from the guys at MR2 Prime. They've got a website. I paid retail for them, they're not sponsored, but I like the fact that they do these kits. Well, they sell these kits anyway. And that is front sway bar, awesome. Okay, only 2 bushes for the steering rack. Whoop, just those 2. So one goes over the shaft, one goes over there. That's cool. Now, this stuff usually needs some sort of grease. Aha, there's a lot of grease in these ones. We'll steal one of these grease packets for the steering rack. Wow, and instructions for all this stuff too, which is cool. This grease is special grease for any polyurethane bushes. Basically anywhere where the polyurethane touches metal, especially anywhere that can move, you need some of this grease, and this stops it tearing the bush. So it's very important to use this stuff. They drill it into you in most of the instructions for these packets. So let's pop the rack in, because that's probably the easiest thing to do right now. Yeah, let's get under the car, find out what bolts we need, and get it in there. So, because I'm not as dumb as I look, I have a packet here which says steering rack, and it has the bolts and the brackets in there for the steering rack. Such an important thing to do. Please do it. It'll save you so much effort. The only downside of that is I forgot to paint these. So I'm going to run them through the sandblaster now, put a lick of paint on it, and then we'll put them up on the rack. Let's go do that. Alright, let's give them a sandblast. I did put a camera in this sandblaster once, and it pretty much destroyed it. So, sorry for the lack of sandblasting footage. I'm just not willing to destroy another camera. Look, when sandblasting cabinets work, they work pretty well. Better get my Roby light out. Forget that. And this thing's not expensive. Like, you can buy this from Super Cheap Auto for maybe about 250 bucks or something. You do need a compressor though, but compressors are getting really cheap too, as most of them are made in China. So if you are doing a lot of this stuff, it's a pretty cheap thing to have that is pretty good. So while those rack mounts are drying, let's get some stuff in the car. So we need to put obviously the bushes in all these arms, but first we need to get these bad boys back in. So these are the main brackets that tie all the control arms to the hubs. So we need to get these back in. And I gotta remember which way around they go. I'm pretty sure, yes, they go in the front, and that's where the main arms join up. And these, I'm pretty sure, are the big bastards for the back. All right, I'm gonna get under the car, find my packet of bolts that says rear sub-assembly. We'll bolt these back in the car. Okay, once again, with a packet saying front control structure, I mean, it's probably not the right name for it, but I understood what it meant. And this one, rear control brackets, which is these. All right, so we've got the bolts there, and these guys bolt up to this section here, so let's get them back in. And honestly, if you're building a car and you're not cleaning everything and putting things back together, painted and cleaned, you're a freaking animal, and you don't deserve a nice car. Oh, that's loud. Okay, I just realised that bolt head's rusty. I hate that, so I'm gonna have to clean that one up. But these are in, which is great. And I've left the bolts in there obviously, so we know which ones to use. So let's go put the front ones in, and then we put some bushes in. Okay, so with those subframes in, we can now put our bushes into our control arms. And I've gone through and figured out which ones are which. So let's just do it. So these little guys go in here, and usually with rubber bushes, you need to press them in and out. But with polyurethane, you can just slide them in. Now, The advantages of polyurethane are, number one, they're easy to install. They do give you a better ride as in performance-wise, but they can give you a bit of vibration, noise, and harshness, which is not ideal for a lot of people. So if you're after a very comfy ride, then polyurethane is probably not the way to go. Unfortunately for the MR2, you can pretty much not get rubber bushes anymore. So this is our only option. But considering how fun this car is going to be to drive, I don't mind a bit of noise if it means we're going to get a bit more performance. Okay, so with that one done, I don't think you need to see all of these go in. It's pretty much just find the right one, push it in. And with these ones, you don't even need to do that. You just undo it and they just slide on. They don't even have to push them on. They're all fairly self-explanatory. Does come with an instruction manual, although they pretty much only go in one spot. Okay, let's time lapse the rest. We'll get all these on, get them in the car. Okay, all our bushes are in, looking good, except these little I think they're trailing arms. Whoa. Yeah, no bushes for them in this kit, which sucks. I'm guessing this entire item is a service item and you replace the whole thing, which seems crazy to me. The dumb thing is though, I pushed the bushes out of this. Now this is kind of on me because I should have checked the kit to make sure every single bush is in there. So that's on me. At the same time, when a kit says complete bush kit, you kind of presume that every single rubber bush would be in the kit. And it wasn't, so that sucks. I will contact MR2 Prime and see if it's supposed to be in there. If not, well, I guess I'm gonna have to get new ones because I did push these out and I have pressed them back in, but they've just torn themselves apart when being pressed back in. Rubber bushes do not like being pressed back in by Muppets like me. So look, it's fine, I can get the car back together, but I'm guessing I'm either gonna have to try and find bushes for these if they exist or buy new arms, which I know there's a company online that do some very sexy ones, but they're freaking expensive. They're like $400 or $500 a pair. So I'm a bit pissed about that because those bushes are actually in really good condition too. What do you do? All right, let's give the struts a bit of a bath and then we'll get all this in. I think I've said, let's get all this in about 20 times now. Bushes even look cool, man. How's that? We have a steering rack. Hell yeah. Let's get some other stuff in. And from experience, they're always a bit bigger than the factory ones, so they're a bitch to get in. As I said, elephant in the room, they're still very filthy and they're not great, but I actually bumped into Chris, the owner of Shockworks, yesterday, and I told him about the car and gave him a bit of a hint about the engine and gearbox I'm putting in, and he goes, hell yeah, you need to get that car to me. I said, well, as soon as it's done on the road, I'll bring it over to you. And he goes, yep, cool, we'll build you something for it. So that's exciting because they do wicked stuff. For any of you XL guys watching, this little snail cam here adjusts your camber. If only an aftermarket race shock could have that, hey? I may have done this the wrong way around. Okay, I might have to drop this off the strap.
$40 to show money, that's what they stole from me. Blow it all bone and get some from me.
Jesus. Okay, that's it. The bitch had to take the strap back out. Okay.
There were 15 people at the gig saying, oh my God, what fun this is. Did it all, did it right, did it big. Yeah, buddy, we were loving it. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right. Always all days, all nice.
There we go. So with any bushes, especially polyurethane, you don't tighten up the actual bushes until the car is completely at ride height. So you lower it, put your wheels on, lower it down, get under there, and then nip up all the bolts. Otherwise, you tighten it up, and then as the ride height goes down, it twists the bush, and that bush sits there twisted for ages, which is not good. Wicked. Tie rod end. And I'm not going to bother with brakes because we don't need them right now. That is sick. Alright, tie rod end, we'll go do the back.
To make the rest of us deal with their broken parts. Despite evil, I like people. Put your hands in the air if you're bipedal. Yeah, if life is a film, give me 5 sequels. Trying to pull my thread through the plot like a fine needle. All of these lines equal proof that I live alone. Got the benefit of time to deliver flows. Eating creamy peanut butter, buddy, I lick the bowl. It brings my soul body into the physical. New cards, new deck, new life. King of Cups, he comes up right.
Done. That was quick. Alright. Let's stick the other 2 sides in and put some wheels on it. It's got wheels on. I know I said I was going to get it on its wheels, but it's actually kind of a bitch to get up on these stands just because they're so high. So yeah, I'm not going to take it off the stand. You get the point. But this, if we had an engine and all the stuff in it, would drive. Like all its control components work now. That's great. Those shocks are obviously old and we will get them switched out and some custom ones made by Shockworks, which would be very exciting. But yeah, and we've got our aftermarket wheels that came with the car. I don't actually hate them. I do want to get some better wheels one day, but for now I think they're fine. They just need a good clean up. Maybe we'll give them a bit of a paint. One of them does have a bit of a buckle in it or a bit of an egg in it. So there's apparently a guy up the road is pretty good at fixing this stuff. So I'll take that to him and see if he can straighten it up. But otherwise, that's pretty cool. That's pretty exciting. So all new bushes. We'll just have to look at those little control arms on the back, those little tie ends. I don't know what they're called. It's McPherson strut. I don't really know this setup. But those arms, I'll see what the deal is with those, see if we can get some new ones or some bushes. But yeah, next we can start looking at putting all the panels back on, put our boot and all that sort of stuff on, see what the bodywork looks like, see what needs to be fixed. I do need to fix some rust in the boot and the bonnet and the fender, but I'm not going to bore you with that stuff, I don't think. Maybe I'll do a video. I don't know. I think we've finished the rust repairs, haven't we? So I'll fix the rust on that. And yeah, it's actually coming together now. It's very exciting. I really do want to get it down its wheels and wheel it around, but honestly, I need it up here to get some stuff done, so it's really just a waste of time. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Oh, just quickly. So how cool is this? The MR2 t-shirts came in. This is my one, this is my grey one, but I've got some black ones from some mates and stuff. I reckon that's pretty sick. I love it. So if you want one, just let me know. We can get you one made up. As I said, the t-shirts can pretty much be in any color you want. I'm going to have that graphic on it. So very cool, and it helps support me and the channel and getting this thing built. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Make sure if you're not subscribed to subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And thank you for watching.